Okay, listen to me here now, Reds. Hold on with me on this one. Bear with it. Luke Shaw could be leaving Manchester United. Now, just let that sink in a minute. And all of the bad that's going on around Manchester United at the moment may seem to be a little bit better because United are acting on the future of the club. The pain is there. It's horrible being a Manchester United fan right now, and everything is going wrong. But later, further down the line, there could be a little bit of light. So we're going to get into that story, Zirkzee story. Even without money, United could be letting players go on loan. This is interesting. We need to get deep into these loan offers that are coming into Manchester United for January with obligations to buy. I don't know how the finances can be balanced. And it does look like, if this is the case, that Ruben and all the options that he has got, if these players do leave on loan from Manchester United in January, would be academy. Interesting. We're going to go through the main stories today. More on Nuno Mendes as well. Luke Shaw, Joshua Zirkzee, Marcus Rashford. Everything that is happening in the January transfer window. It is a day off for the Premier League today. No games on a Saturday. Seems weird, but with everyone playing on Sunday and Monday, obviously jam-packed breaks in between Christmas. It is a bit of a weird time for football. Great for us, like football every other day at the moment to watch and get our teeth into, but it is going to be a Saturday off for everybody. Do you know what? I'm actually happy. I can actually go around, do my usual bits on a Saturday, try and enjoy half of the weekend without any football drama. In fact, we don't even have any drama tomorrow, do we either? So, yeah, Monday night, it'll be what will be. Andy Mitten made a great post out, an article on The Athletic. I'll just read it out to you now, which pretty much read, in December 2023, Manchester United broke a record which held since 1933 of losing 5 games in December alone. Didn't think that record was going to be broken. But United take on Newcastle on Monday night with 5 defeats already in the bag, and Manchester United sitting 14th in the league table in the Premier League. It's looking bleak. Cheers, Andy. Wait to fill us with confidence going into the end of the year, eh? But I don't think there's anything that anyone can say on a positive or spin anything any other way at the moment that's going to convince any Manchester United fan that we are looking like we're on the right track, let's just say that. But yeah, I mean, transfer news I think is the only positive right now, and that is looking into the future of this football club. We're going to start with obviously Luke Shaw being the main headline today. One main headline, simply, it's not really. When you look at it, and this is where Manchester United are at right now, when you look at the Luke Shaw news, for instance, and you go into what's actually been said, and you're like, Luke Shaw, Manchester United moving him on, it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal because of how Manchester United have been run before. Manchester United fans have been talking about Luke Shaw for how many years now? Like, we cannot rely on these players anymore. Surely it's time now that these players have moved on from the football club. And Luke Shaw is right up there on the top of that list with a lot of Manchester United players. I would say, and I'm right in saying this, I think I'm right, but I don't mean this to be mean to him or I'll say that he's the biggest problem at Manchester United, but I would say that, and you tell me in the live chat, tell me if you feel like Luke Shaw is one of them players that is on the problem list, as in the player FC list at Manchester United. You tell me, is Luke Shaw that player? Because I think a lot of Manchester United fans look at him and go, whereas we like him, we do understand there is issues with his injuries and everything like that, and he has been unlucky in his career, it's still a problem. It's still an issue. He's still a senior player on mega money that we cannot get on the pitch, and he doesn't give anything to the team. He's got a worse injury record than Anthony Martial for games played for time he's been at the football club. So really, I can understand where a lot of United fans are coming from with this one. But this one is coming from Napoli Calcio, so it's coming from an Italian source. What's with it with the Italian sources at the moment and everything? Actually, and I don't mean carbonara or bolognese there either. I'm talking about. Sorry. I'm talking about general sort of football talk and what's going on right now. It all seems to be coming across from Italy right now. And do you know what? I'm not really bothered where these players end up. I don't think any Manchester United fan is. But we look at it with, let's just say, our real caps on and go, okay, will these players go to Italy? So when I say that, it's like, for instance, the players on the list that we're looking to move on, well, there's quite a few of them. You go through, let's just pick out a couple, like, for instance, Marcus Rashford, Garnacho. Will they go to Italy? I don't think it's a bad league, But obviously, egos and players wanting to still be at the top level or seen to be at the top level for their brands and whatnot. I can see Luke Shaw being happy over in Italy, personally. I do think that is an option. He's got 2 players over there that he knows really well, in obviously Lukaku and, of course, the McTerminator Scotty, too hotty McTominay, who is doing excellent over there. Good relationship with them. And if one English player can make it, or one British player, can make it over there, then there's another one that can do it as well. So the story is Napoli are interested in signing Luke Shaw in January. United are open to offers. United are definitely open to offers for Luke Shaw. I mean, Ruben Amorim has come out and said, look, he wants Luke Shaw in his side. He wants everyone in his side. He's generally said this, and reports will come out about Ruben Amorim still wanting Luke Shaw. He'll say something in a press conference, and that will then be turned into a story saying he wants to hold on to him. And some fans will latch on to that. I've seen it. There was a story that came out, I think, first of all, when Rashford was dropped from the Manchester City game. And the story came out after him speaking. He wants Rashford and wants a quality player like him in his squad. And I've seen a few comments just on this channel alone and stories being spawned. Sky Sports was the same, basically saying that Ruben Amorim wants Marcus Rashford in his side. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That's just for the cameras. And we have to look at the reality of the situation right now. If a senior player has dropped for 4 straight games, well fit, he's not going to be playing and isn't in the plans for that coach going forward or Manchester United. So just let that sink in. Shaw is different. Injuries are just not going to allow him to be a Ruben Amorim player. I think it's quite clear. It's the same calf injury that he had last time, and he was out for 3 months with it last time. We're writing Luke Shaw off. If he is coming back, and this is the other stumbling block as well, and this is why I think Luke Shaw won't move in January, because he's still bleeding injured. And let's be honest, this is one that I think will move forward probably in the summer. And Luke Shaw, we may get 5 or 10 million quid. If we get 5 to 10 million, and if we get 5 million for Luke Shaw, I would say that's amazing business by Manchester United. Wages off the books and money for a player, like, wow. Nobody with his injury record is looking at Luke Shaw. I'm just looking at the headlines now, and this story alone on my screen right here is Luke Shaw running with a busted knee, with blood all over his knee. Like, he's just a walking demic, isn't he? He just cannot stay off that injury table. And with it being the same injury, this was what was reported a few weeks ago, actually, with Luke Shaw and his injury. It is, I think, the same calf problem that he had, that he pulled up against Luton with last season, which basically from February to May, and then going into the Euros, obviously we've seen him play for England, but it's that same one that kept him out for 3 months plus. So there you've got the 2 main players there, 2 big English players that would make a massive difference to Ruben Amorim's side right now. Luke Shaw and Mason Mount are both out. I think you need to be looking at, as much as Mason Mount is a key player for Manchester United, you have to be looking in the same way at him and getting him out in the summer as well. This is just the ruthless calls that I think Ruben Amorim and Ineos together are going to have to make now. But the story is coming from Italy when it comes to Luke Shaw. I think there is legs in this, but I just don't see there being legs in January. Simply because, pardon the pun, I don't think Luke Shaw's got the legs right now, because he's still not fit, he's still not training, and the window opens in, what is it, 2 days' time now? 3 days' time, the window is open. So, yeah, I think there's something in it, but I don't think it's anything that's going to move quickly enough for Manchester United to prosper in January. Let's be honest, even if Luke Shaw was sold in January, that isn't going to give you enough money to go out and buy another left back or left wing back, whoever it is you want to bring in, is it? You're just not going to get enough money from Luke to actually make that happen. So I think this is just a deal that I think United fans have been waiting for, and I think nobody's got a problem with. Unfortunately, Luke Shaw has just had that career at Manchester United that never took off. It should have been brilliant. The leg break completely derailed him, and I still don't think he's recovered from it. There have been some certain points and moments in seasons where he's had a decent run of games, but never played out a full season, always spending time on injury tables throughout every single season at Manchester United while he's been here. A wasted career. And really unlucky and really unfortunate career in Luke Shaw, I feel. And United, unfortunately, never seen the consistent best of Luke Shaw. But a player that definitely needs to be out of the door. I think what's happening with Luke Shaw is obviously this left-back talk now, with Malacia being left out of the squad, Shaw never fits, Dalot struggling to play on the left-hand side. This is one big push towards bringing in a left wing-back in the summer. In the January transfer window. And last night when we spoke about Nuno Mendes and that bid going in from Manchester United, some reports even saying so towards the back end of last night's live show, some reports were actually coming out saying that Manchester United had agreed personal terms with them, with Nuno Mendes. So his agent, who is the same agent for, like we said last night, Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Amorim, there's a big Portuguese connection there with a few players going with the same agency for... same agency in terms of dealing with all of their contracts and dealings, agent, whatever you want to call them. And apparently Manchester United have offered a very lucrative, in fact there's one report coming out this morning, and Manchester United have offered Nuno Mendes an attractive salary. Ruben Amorim made the player a priority and Mendes was flattered to feel so valued. Now we talked about this last night. We spoke about how Manchester United can get better players in at Manchester United. Luis Enrique, the PSG head coach right now, manager, we said and explained it last night that once he doesn't like a player, or when that player gets these sort of vibes off him, it's quite clear where it is going. And with only them few appearances this season, like we said, he's been left out for over a third of the games this season in Ligue 1. He isn't his he's not his top choice. And PSG want to put him onto a new contract so they can sell him for more money. But he has said no to that contract. He wants to go, and he's making it easier for another club to come in and buy him right now, because he knows if he signs that contract, as good as that is, at the age of 22, he isn't going to be getting much game time still in the future with Luis Enrique, and it would be difficult because PSG would just put that price up. They would just make it an unrealistic price for anyone to take him away. So I think his agent, in speaking with him and him looking at the situation, if he doesn't sign that deal with 1 year left, PSG are forced into the corner and will have to make something happen in getting a deal over the line. And I think that's where this one is at. I can completely see where United are at with obviously already making contact and offering in personal terms. I think that makes sense. That's how Manchester United and most other clubs work right now anyway, but I just didn't expect it to move that quickly. Remember that story that came out that we covered, I think it was about 3 days ago, when Ruben Amorim has made his list of players and he's giving Ineos that deadline, the 2-week deadline, to get these players over the line. It does look like as soon as the transfer window opens, Manchester United will show their cards and they will be all in on getting a left wing back. I just don't see any other position right now actually coming off for Manchester United. We don't have the money. I feel like United look at this and go, we can make a deal here. We can definitely make a deal with Mendes. Like, I feel there will be a loan with obligation offer in for PSG on this one. If he isn't playing, then I think negotiations will go down the road of, we will give you a certain amount guaranteed in the summer. Pretty much like Manchester United are doing the opposite way. Everyone's trying to find their way around and navigate their way around financial fair play, obviously. PSG no different. Manchester United at this rate will not have to deal with financial fair play because we're not going to be in any European competition next season. That's interesting to actually take into consideration really as well, because you have to be competing in a European competition to actually have to abide by the financial fair play rules. So United will only have PSR. Similar, slightly different in how they work. So whether or not Manchester United are even looking into that, that would be a complete season write-off if they are looking at just PSR rules and not financial fair play. But I think most of the deals that are going to go on in January are looking down that road. I think it's going to be loans with obligations, big obligations, just to make it look a lot sweeter, which was what we spoke about with Garnacho yesterday. We possibly looking at the same maybe with Joshua Zirkzee. I'm going to come on to him in a minute, more of an update there. And then I will be into the chat, everybody, as well. So keep your comments flying in, please. 100 likes, by the way. Thank you, everybody. Keep them likes flying in. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well if you haven't already. That way you can get into the chat and join the conversation. There was over 1,000 of you in there already, which is brilliant. Love that on a Saturday morning. But yeah, so break it down. Luke Shaw leaving Manchester United is definitely happening. I don't think it'll happen in January because of the injury situation. Nuno Mendes, Manchester United's priority left back now, it would seem. So he's leapfrogged everybody else. And let's not forget, Alphonso Davies has made it clear to Bayern Munich that he will not agree any deal until the new year, i.e. transfer window opening on the 1st of January. So he's going to let everyone just, I would say, come in with their pitch to try and offer him a deal. I don't know, if United bring in Mendes, do they need Alphonso Davies? That's what you've got to look at. I mean, he's being very, very particular with his players right now. I actually do believe there's players going into this January transfer window that United were probably looking at and probably had on their radar going into the summer window as well that have changed because of Ruben Amorim. You cannot plan out put a transfer strategy in place with Ten Hag and then that be the same strategy with Ruben Amorim. And I think this is where these noises and these rumours and these stories are starting to change as we go along right now, where it might have been the likes of Alvaro Fernandez or maybe Milos Kerkez and Alphonso Davies. This could have completely changed. So we've started to hear about, obviously, Theo Hernandez, and now Nuno Mendes is in as well. It started to change slowly as the season's gone on with Ruben Amorim in charge, and there were targets that United would have had that would just not have fitted into Ruben Amorim's system. And I think they've had to just go back to the drawing board. I do. I feel like, obviously, the Diego Leon deal, being the 17-year-old we've spent money on already, I think that was probably a play that they felt within the club that could be that could progress through the ranks at Manchester United and be moulded into the type of player that Ruben Amorim wants. So you could see Mendes come in, you could see Diego Leon. Obviously, that would be Ariel Mas out on loan until the end of the season. But then come the summer, is that the left wing-back position all done, sorted? Is that everything that's actually all now completely put to bed? That's what you've got to look at as well, I feel. I just look at it and I go, Mendes in, Diego Leon in, Manchester United still looking at the best of Ariel Mas. I don't know, but there's two players there in that side. Is that it? Or is there going to be another one coming? Do we still go for Alphonso Davies? If we bring in Mendes, honestly, I feel like we can forget about everyone else. I don't think we're going to be looking at Kerkez. I don't think we're going to be looking at Alphonso or even Alvaro Fernandez. We could possibly bring in Alvaro Fernandez as backup, but he's playing consistent football at Benfica now, so I don't see that one being an option either. Interesting how this is panning out, because all these players coming in are expecting game time, and probably for the price that we're going to have to pay for Mendes, I think United would be expecting this guy to be Manchester United's number one left wing back. 100%. It is a position that is crucifying Manchester United at the moment. The lack of creativity and know-how on that left-hand side with Diogo Dalot at the moment is absolutely destroying Manchester United. There are other positions as well, but this one I feel is absolutely a needs must. It really is. I'm going to come into the chat first of all. Let me just see now what other stories we get. Yeah, I've got all the other stories lined up right now, but into the chat we go. We are going to touch on Zirkzee update as well. So let's just scroll back up. Good morning to everyone as well, by the way. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Let's go scroll over about halfway back up here. Jonathan, let's just start off with you. Ineos lowering the wage bill and putting up ticket prices. Why, as a fan, should I be happy with this? Show me where the investment is going into the squad. Well, I think with Ineos right now, just to break that down, not defending Ineos at all with the ticket prices on this, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe has invested, obviously, money into buy shares and take control of United, which is now set at, I think 29% of the football club. He has also invested just under 300 million into the infrastructure of Manchester United. There has been investment in the playing staff from Ineos. They did invest money into this in the summer. So under financial fair play and PSR rules, you are only allowed as an owner to invest a certain amount of money to balance financial fair play books. Sadly, Sir Jim Ratcliffe cannot spend his money on players. And that ultimately is the problem. And now a lot of fans would look at it and say, I'm still not happy with this. And with Jonathan on the ticket prices, as a match-going fan, please don't punish the supporters for what has gone wrong at the football club. And you cannot be charging the prices you're charging for a team that is lacking in quality, that is 14th bottom half of the table in the Premier League. It's an absolute embarrassment. That needed to wait. that really did need to wait until the summer. It isn't going to make any difference whatsoever this season to the finances or anything. So that one, I'm with Jonathan on that, and it is lacking, and it is a big problem for Manchester United, and definitely within the fan base. It's not gone down well at all. Into more comments, let's go. This is complete nothing burger. A nothing burger. You are not selling short in January. Ninja, I think I just said that, actually. Maybe if you listened, you might actually get the full story. But yes, there is genuine interest in Luke Shaw. United will sell him in the summer, but he is injured and we cannot sell him in January. But we talk about everything on this channel as well. All of the news, all of the stories. So maybe just go a little bit easier on your little comments. So I'll say, yes, listen first and then comment afterwards. Or let me just say my piece and then slag me off after that. I'm happy with that. Because that way then everything's out in the open, yeah? Goodbye. Buy half the leg, get the other half free. There's Mount and Shaw gone. I love that one, Matt. Almac says, we need to find money for a new keeper. Anana and Binder ain't good enough. Not happening yet. United will probably find another keeper on the cheap, I think. And we have reported a couple of things on that going in. I don't think we have got a lot of money to spend on a keeper. I reckon we're in trouble regarding our next 3 games: Newcastle, Liverpool, then Arsenal. Where will we be in the league after that, do you think? There is a little bit of a gap between 14th and 15th in the table, so we'll probably still be 14th, I would say, yes. Mendes has an injury. Mendes has had injury problems as Luke Shaw. What are Ineos thinking? Says Ninja again. In terms of that, Matthijs de Ligt had injury issues. Mazraoui had injury issues. Has been available for nearly every game this season, apart from de Ligt being ill in the last 2 games. Mendes hasn't been injured all this season. I'm not sure what you're talking about with that one, mate. Unless you want to go right back into the earlier careers. Can you look at something that happened 2 years ago? Maybe we should. If a player is injured and we're buying him, I would use Mason Mount as an example of that. A player that didn't finish the last third of his season off the back of a major hip injury issue that has caused him problems now throughout his first year at Manchester United and now into his second season at Manchester United. That is something that I would look at as a big problem. A big problem in recruitment. But not this one. Definitely not this one. Flash Talk says, yeah, come on, guys, listen to Kaz. Nearly 1,000 watching. We have actually got 1,300 people watching. We should be well over 200 likes on that one. So let's get them up, everybody, please. Rudrish says, Alvaro is good. Is a good shout out given our condition. Also, Mendes is massively injury prone. Again, another issue with injuries for people. He has not been injured this season. That's what we're looking at. So, injury issues. Every player's got injury issues, for God's sake. Everyone can get injured at one point. But, yeah, we were saying exactly the same things, like I said, about about Mazraoui and Matthijs de Ligt, weren't we? And look what's happened with them. You've got a coaching that understands injuries, I feel. And I don't think we should be looking at injuries right now. We should be looking at players that have got the quality. And if they are rotated well and given the right amount of rest time and not overtrained, which we're not doing right now, and let's be honest, the only injuries that Manchester United have had this season have been from the injury-prone players that we know have got big issues. Look at everything else. Like, you've got Lindelof, yes. You've got your Shaw, yes. You've got your Mount, yes. They're the 3 injuries at Manchester United at the moment. Everybody else has always been fit. We're leaving players out now that are fit because they're not training well enough. Ruben Amorim doesn't overtrain these players. This isn't Ten Hag anymore. You've got a head coach in at Manchester United right now who actually understands how players need the right recovery time, who players need to be nursed and properly looked after through a season. So, really, injuries right now, I'm not concerned about as much. Look at the players that we've got available. Look at our bench recently. We cannot, even with 3 first-team international players like Lindelof, Shaw and Mason Mount are not available to us, we still cannot fit any academy players onto our matchday bench. We are full of senior players. The argument you should be having and the debate you should be having is, are them players of the right quality? Have they got the mentality to be Manchester United players? Not if they're going to be injured or not. That right now, I'm not concerned about. Let's get the right quality players in. Let's get the players that Ruben Amorim knows. And let's not forget, Mendes was at Sporting under Ruben Amorim and brought through their academy by Ruben into Sporting, which is why PSG spent 40 million euros on taking him over to France. So he knows the player well as well. And if he knows the player, I'm all in on this, because we need players that are understanding of what he wants. We listened to what Harry Maguire said yesterday in his interview with Sky, when he was talking about the difference between Ten Hag and Ruben Amorim and the demands that Ruben Amorim brings. Is that you may not get overworked in training, you may have to do more, but he wants more from you in games. He demands more from you in being switched on in certain positions. It's not like he's making him run more. And these injuries and these crazy obscure muscle injuries, of which how many has happened while Ruben Amorim has been in? Who has actually got an injury in training while Ruben Amorim has been at the football club? Not one player. Everyone has gone down in game. And that's why he's trying to nurse them through. So that's a good point, I think. That's a good thing to look at. And definitely, for me, I feel, is one of the big positives since Ruben Amorim has actually come in. Let's get some more comments in. Adam, who you take 2 points from? Would you take 2 points, I think you're supposed to say there, from our next 2 games? Yeah, I would. I'd take 2 draws. I'd take a win and a loss to get 3 points and be up there. But drastically right now, Manchester United's position in the league is precarious. It really is. It's looking, like Andy Mitten said, it's bleak. It's very bleak right now. Quickly, some more stuff that is just coming in from the Telegraph. So Jim Ratcliffe cuts 40,000 Manchester United charity payment for former players. So basically, former Manchester United players in a charity that United have got set up, a 40,000 payment has been cut. He isn't making many friends at Manchester United at the moment. It's reported that the mood around Manchester United within the staff at the moment is the worst it's ever been. He has come in and seriously cracked the whip, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And what we were talking about before, how the fans are not happy and what's going on, the investment that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's put in, they want to see more. No one is going to be convinced until he has another summer like he did last summer and 17 more players leave this football team and this squad. So the only hope that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's got of getting anybody on board with his vision is if he backs up what he's done off the pitch with the staff, on the pitch with the players. And that being them players never walking out onto that pitch in a United shirt again because they've been flogged. That's it. I want to move on to Joshua Zirkzee's news and updates as well. So the Joshua Zirkzee saga has continued through. So part 1 was possibly being offered to Napoli as a striker option in a make-weight deal for Victor Osimhen. That's gone by the by. Even the Marcus Rashford situation right now has gone cold on that one, and no striker will come into Manchester United in the January transfer window. Really concerning. I know you don't want to hear it, but that's the reality of it. So Joshua Zirkzee was an option there. That was the first story. Then yesterday it came out that Thiago Motta, the manager at Juventus, former manager of Zirkzee at Bologna, was interested in taking him in January because they are looking to spend money. They will be in the market for a striker in January. But this is where the report today doesn't make sense for me, and it's come from Italy again, Tutto Sport. So the connections with Joshua Zirkzee's agent and obviously the Serie A setup and everything like that, good relationship and good contact source for anything news-wise around Joshua Zirkzee. Manchester United have reportedly agreed to let Joshua Zirkzee leave on loan in January. They are open for letting Zirkzee leave. I can see why you would want to let Zirkzee go, but then at the same time, I don't understand it. We haven't got enough players. We cannot be letting Zirkzee go on loan. And it sounds crazy because a lot of people would argue he's just not got the quality to be a Manchester United player. He offers nothing. But there comes a point where you have to really go, we cannot be letting everybody leave. We actually do need someone in this squad. And I look at it and go, Rashford isn't going to be playing for United. Garnacho's still seeing his ass. Mason Mount is injured. You've lost 3 number 10s there. And Joshua Zirkzee is supposed to be a number 9 in backup to Rasmus Højlund, who's struggling. Bruno Fernandes is suspended and completely off it. In reality, when you look at it, there's 4 number 10s that that United really have lost in one way or another right now. You cannot afford to let Joshua Zirkzee leave on loan in January. honestly, right now, that would be Manchester United promoting a load of youth players and loaning out all of Manchester United's first team players that are a problem right now with an obligation to buy in the summer, writing off the Premier League season completely and just praying that they can do something in the Europa League. I cannot see Manchester United doing this. The more you look at it, the more you read into it, the more you look at the situation with United's players and what Ruben Amorim has got, where there is an argument for the quality not being good enough and we're sick to death of seeing him and we just want them gone, he still needs players to work with. He still needs someone to put out on the pitch. I just don't see it happening, but the talks are still there. Zirkzee leaving, like the speculation has been there, like throughout December and build up to this January transfer window. And honestly, I think there's going to be a little bit of clarity in where Manchester United are heading as soon as we hit January. On Tuesday, is it? Yeah, I think it's Tuesday. Is it now Tuesday? Yeah, I think it is Tuesday, isn't it? I lost complete track of my days. But as soon as it comes, I think we're going to find out everything that we want to know or we need to know about where United are heading. But I can't see it. I just can't see Zirkzee going. I mean, would you promote youth through at this point, knowing that the pressure is on them so much? Or would the fan base give the academy players the time that they need this season because they are not going to win many games if they did? I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's the right environment for them. Go for it. I mean, Ruben Amorim has got form for it. He's done it. We just talked about Mendes. We just talked about, obviously, we didn't just talk about, but we have talked about Quenda as well, a 17-year-old now that's going to be sold like Mendes was. Young players coming through. The pressure is different. The pressure is completely different at Manchester United. That's a concern for me for them and their progress and where they should be. They shouldn't be thrust into the limelight right now. And it just makes no sense that Manchester United would get rid of players on loan. But you tell me. I'm coming into the chat right now. Over 1,500 people in the room live with us right now. Thank you, everybody. Love that. We should actually be closer to 400 likes for that many people in the room now. So please do give the video a like if you haven't already. Make sure you have subscribed as well. You will be fully up to date with everything going on around Manchester United. That is what we're talking about right now. We touched on Luke Shaw's situation, Joshua Zirkzee. Obviously, we're looking at Nuno Mendes as the top target now coming in for Ruben Amorim. It looks like United will definitely, if anything, through all of these reports, be bringing in a left wing back. Are you happy with that? Let's get into the chat and see what you're all saying. United Spotlight says, thank God Zirkzee was cheap. I think he is the worst player football-wise we have ever bought since I can remember. I think United Spotlight rates Joshua Zirkzee going off that. My God. Do you actually think Osimhen changes anything? Because I don't. Yeah, I do. I think he's a quality player and a striker that definitely would give us more than what Rasmus Højlund is giving us right now. Look, are all the pieces in place for him to thrive and be the ultimate? No. And I think this is why we probably got to accept that we are not going to be getting everyone in January. And in the summer, one deal needs to be backed up with another one, i.e., the system will only work and we will only see the best of certain players if the other players around them are of the similar quality in their positions. And it is part of a team. And you'll notice with Ruben Amorim, he's actually been playing players in groups rather than individual players. I've said this before. He'd rather put 3 players together and play them together rather than just bringing one player in. Like he has said, he is getting close now to finding his best team or realising what his best team is. Still difficult and hard to see, but I would say that the best team he could have put out at the moment was the one that played against Wolves, and they were atrocious. They were absolutely pants, weren't they? So, yeah, I am worried on that one. But, no, I get what you're saying about Osimhen. It's not going to come in and absolutely change every single fortune in Manchester United, but he can change momentum in games. He can be that player that takes the chances that we have created and score a goal, and just like we have been getting on the wrong end. I mean, I think it's 7 or 8 games in a row right now where United have conceded the first goal in a game. This is nearly every single Ruben Amorim game where he has, I think it's 7 of Ruben Amorim's 10 games. I think the last 7, in fact, have been Manchester United conceding the first goal. And that momentum has killed us. So Ruben Amorim has talked about dealing with the mental strain of going behind in games, dealing with that mental block that we've got, because it does affect us. All of the players have talked about it. If we can actually take a chance and build a little bit of confidence and lead a game and actually control a game through scoring the first goal, I think that will be a big moment for United, and we need to look at that as well. It's United. You should be dealing with the adversities and going behind. You're never going to get it your own way, obviously, and you have to be able to come from behind. But I think like 7 games in a row where we've conceded the first goal, it's a bit of a joke considering the amount of chances that we've actually had and not been able to take them. And it is poor. If you don't take your chances, the pressure just mounts and the confidence just drops within the whole squad. And that's where United are at right now for me. The free I'd sell would be 1 Rashford, 2 Shaw, 3 Bruno. Clear out the old standard, create a new one. Luke Shaw would be the longest serving player at Manchester United to leave right now. He has been here longer than anybody else in terms of years. I mean, Luke Shaw has been at the club a decade. Wow. That tells you everything, doesn't it? That sort of just puts it all in perspective as to how poorly Manchester United have been run and where this club is actually at the moment. It's crazy. Luke Shaw has been at United since 2014. I just said that then. Let that sink in. Almost since Tony Kroos. Oh, yeah. It's funny how I said that and someone did say that in the same comment there at the same time in the comment section. Barry Cooper, alright Baz, alright mate. Does a Mendes deal in January put an end to the Davies chase? I think so. I understand we need someone right now, but Davies is in the summer, should be top of our list. For free, yes, I agree. I think he is that quality of player, Davies, but I don't know. I think he was someone on United's list before Ruben Amorim came in. I really do think they were looking at this, and Ruben's just said, I think he's changed it. I actually do feel like Mendes puts an end to Alphonso Davies. I do. I've never seen, and I've looked at the history, I've not seen him be that versatile player, so I can't say that Mendes or Davies have played on the right-hand side in their careers. There may have been moments here and there, but really we need someone who is a master of the one trade on the left-hand side for me. I don't like versatile players. Just buy someone you know is always going to play in that position. I'm sick of players being changed around. I know it's needs must right now for Ruben, but still, I would rather just get a left-sided player for the left side and a right-sided player for the right-hand side. It seems simple, doesn't it, football sometimes? And this is where a lot of United fans have got an issue with Dalot being played on the left-hand side. Stop playing him there. Put him on the right. If you're going to squeeze anyone into the left, I think Mazraoui is more capable. I never understand that one. Harp says it may not be in his plans to get down to 18th, and it's very unlikely what happens if you do sink there. Do you continue getting poor results playing his football? Well, this is what, in terms of that conversation, which it does look like Kaz and Harper are having there. I said this yesterday. After the game, if these results continue the same, have Ineos got the backbone to back Ruben Amorim, or is he gone? Because United can't afford to get relegated. Do United, in the club and in their stance and everything they stand for, actually keep a manager that's got them relegated? That's a question. That they need to be fully supportive of Ruben Amorim, no matter how bad this gets right now. And it is only going to get worse, isn't it? It is only going to get worse because he's running out of players. They don't want to play for him, quite clearly. We've seen 3 players now that have been fully fit that have been dropped out of the squad completely. And that being Malacia, that being obviously Rashford and Garnacho. And Malacia was dropped for something that was gone wrong. I don't care what anybody says. Manchester United are crying out for a left-hand-sided wing-back right now. And the only left-sided defender we've got is bleeding Malacia. And he's not in the squad? Come on, something's gone wrong there. There's been an issue behind the scenes with Malacia and the manager again. And honestly, these players now are just turning into an absolute laughing stock. Everybody's looking at United and laughing at them right now. And every time I listen to a pundit or any show or podcast of anyone talking about United, they're all just like bewildered. They're like, what is going on at Manchester United? They are an absolute embarrassment. They really are. There's no energy in the team. They started well under Amorim, but now they look demotivated and uninterested. These players are overcooked. I'd only keep Agate, Ahmad and Mazraoui at this point. Not overcooked from Ruben Amorim, I don't think. I think overcooked from Erik ten Hag and just completely brainwashed. with how football should be played and what different systems can prosper and what they can prosper in. I just feel like what Ten Hag did to these players in cooking them, the amount of injuries that we actually had, I think it's embarrassing, really embarrassing. I'm just looking at some news that's come out there in terms of Manchester United right now and what we're looking at to try and sell players. I'm going to be doing some content on Football Talks later regarding, I think, Liverpool probably, but just looking at who actually targets our players now, because obviously we spoke about Real Madrid being a target for Diogo Dalot, but I'm sure there are better options out there right now than Dalot for Real Madrid to go for. And if he keeps on playing this way, and if he keeps on being in Manchester United's side, how attractive a signing is that going to be for anyone else when it comes to it? Not very. Not much at all. And that, I feel, is a concern now as well. Like, needs must. Players actually being put in this side in different positions, not looking good or struggling with the Amorim system, is also going to help us. It's not going to help us in selling these players either. The form is just going to drop off completely. So, yeah, I am worried. You'll see the stories coming out that Trent has told Liverpool he's leaving for Madrid. We're going to be talking about that on Football Talks later, but there's that right-hand side done. So they're not going to go for Dalot. Where did Dalot go then? Like I said, it was all hoping that Real Madrid were actually going to be... Real Madrid were actually going to take Dalot, but now that looks like that's not their top priority. Oh, God. I don't want to keep sounding so downbeat, but it's like I said at the top of the show, with the games that United have lost in December, the record that was broke last year since 1933, if we're going to break that again, is that in history? Yeah, a record amount of games lost in December in the club's history, complete history. We've rewritten the record books this December if we lose to Newcastle on Monday night. Whoa, let that one sink in. That's a that's a spine shiverer right there, isn't it? And he says, please WhatsApp Amorim to give us a Ugarte Casemiro partnership, just like Ruud van Nistelrooy did. I think we should wait to judge Amorim when he gets some of his signings in. Oh yeah, no one should be judging Amorim right now. Definitely not. We need to wait until he's got his signings in, and I think he will make significant signings, and they will be different to what we were thinking we're going to get. There's one thing we've actually seen so far in the stories that have come out in the transfer window is that the ones that we thought we were going to go for and were obvious have definitely not been the ones that Ruben Amorim has gone for or we're talking about now. Mendes is prime example to that. It just looked like for everything it was like Kirkez, Alvaro Fernandez, Alphonso Davies, and then bang, United apparently bid for Nuno Mendes because Ruben Amorim knows him. We'll see. Bruno as captain, breaking all records. No captain wants to. Says United Spotlight. Manager not playing Casemiro. Why? Another one. Jonathan, not sure about that. Again, that's a weird one. No money for significant signings at this stage. No money at all, Harper, it would seem. Players do need to be sold, but I don't think we can gather enough money from them sales until the summer. And that is the problem. Nothing for now. I think it's a bit of a mix of players trying to understand Amorim's system and recovering from the injuries inflicted by Ten Hag, says Ahmad. Where are you actually all at when it comes to players not being able to figure out Ruben Amorim's system? The professional footballers, it's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment. If you can't figure out a system, all you've done is been, all throughout your whole life, you've been brought up as a professional footballer. Through the ranks, learning different roles, learning different systems, different tactics, different instructions. And we're hearing now that United players are struggling with what Ruben Amorim wants them to do. Shut up. Shut up. You're a professional. Deal with it. Manchester United should have a grip. These players should have a grip 10 games in of what Ruben Amorim wants now. And they're an embarrassment. And I'm not letting them off with the changing of system. Oh, we're halfway through a season and we have to change everything. Yeah, because the system you were doing before was really working well for you, wasn't it? I mean, seriously, come on. You should be more on board with the new system coming in because it's going to make you look even better. No excuse whatsoever. I'm not letting them off one bit. Sick of this blame game. You play for Man United. You should be used to playing twice a week. True. Big problem is in this and Erik ten Hag's system. The squad lacks physicality and running power, and that's Erik ten Hag's fault. He bought the wrong players. I agree with that one, actually. Well said, United spotlight on that one. Amorim needs a total clear out in the summer. All the 30-plus players need to go. Bruno as captain is a total nightmare. He set a new record for being sent off. Bruno, the captaincy will be an interesting one going into the summer. I don't think Ruben Amorim is going to change it in season, but the Bruno captaincy is definitely one that will be brought up, I feel. Please subscribe if you are new, says Tom. We're on the road to 70k. Yes, we are. Make sure you have hit that subscribe button, everybody. Do check out the other content that we put out yesterday as well. Plenty of stories going around there if you haven't already. Ahmad says, I do martial arts. It takes a while to be able to do new techniques and learning a new style. Having said that, it will take a while. No, completely different, mate. Football is not martial arts, I'm afraid. And that is an individual style. Players play football. It's upstairs that they're struggling with it, not physically. Or not in terms of their technique and their qualities. If you have been brought in at Manchester United, you should have all the qualities as a footballer to work on any system. I'm sorry. You are being paid more than anyone else on the planet to play football. You know you should be able to handle what's being thrown your way. No excuses. Sorry, no, never even going to give them that sort of get out of jail card of it being a changeover and it's difficult to adapt. Shut up. Not a chance. I'm not saying you should shut up, I'm saying the players. Just so that's clear. Have you not realised that some of these players are a bit thick, Adam? Henry, I like it. He's going brutal mode this morning. I wasn't going to say that. It seems a bit too harsh. A bit? You think you're on the cooking yourself there, Henry, a little bit, buddy. I don't remember when Bruno said it was easier for older players to get the system. Turns out he lied. Maguire is saying it's total opposite. It looks like it's easier for the younger players. It's a good point, that, Karen. Well put, because he did say that. I remember it. You're right. Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes. Honestly, I do look at it and go, they look like they haven't got a clue. It does look that way right now, that they just don't know what they're doing. Reckon you and Arsenal will be in a bidding war for Cunha in January. He was a good player, him. Like, he absolutely bossed Manchester United, and a definite option that United should look at for that left-hand side. I think his audition was he passed with flying colours. That audition definitely flew, didn't it, for Cunha? What a player. I would like a few of them corners whipped in from him as well. My God. Adam, I wonder, do these players want to learn a new system? It's a question, Peter. Well said. Sternlove says, it's clear United need more investment from other source and investors. They do. Remember that story that came out about floating the idea of investment to Elon Musk by Sir Jim Radcliffe? Where is this club gone? Oh my days. Cunha is on 60k per week, but Rashford is on 325k per week. I think ATS, we could look at that with a few different players. We could compare Marcus Rashford to anyone in the league, and he would lose in terms of value for money and what they're being paid on a weekly basis, wouldn't they? I guarantee that with everybody, he falls short. He is the most overpaid player, most overhyped player in the Premier League right now. Probably in European football, you could say. There's a little bit of my sort of Rashford feelings mixed in with that there, but tell me I'm wrong, please. You are right, Adam. All footballers should have the basic fundamentals. It's not like learning a new technique like dribbling, headers and stuff. No. It's not. They should have the basics of everything a professional footballer needs. They've got them there in their locker. They should know automatically when a new coach comes in and tells them to play this certain system. It should be embedded in there. All it is a willing to learn it, a willing to actually want to change. Look, let's be honest. If you're a centre-back, you've 3 centre-backs, you've now got more protection. You've got more players around you. You've got wing-backs bombing forward. All you need to be and all you need to do is when you step forward with the ball, when you're covering your partner, when that player bombs forward, you need to be communicating with your midfielder for cover. Like, literally, I could talk through what Ruben Amorim right now, and I'm not, like I said, I was semi-pro. I wasn't great. But right now, knowing from what I was taught as a kid and what I played and where I played, I changed systems so many different times. You understand it simpler. And I know the levels and expectations are different, and you can't compare what I went through. But straight away, I understand what's being said. And if I can understand it, then players can understand it. It's the willing to want to understand it that I think is a problem, and why we're discussing this right now. And these players are an utter disgrace. They are pathetic. Absolutely pathetic when it comes to what is happening right now at Manchester United and the excuses that are coming out about this so-called new system and struggling to adapt. Shut up. I keep saying that, don't I? Shut up. A couple of last comments before we finish up. Is there anything in the Qatar story or just the media playing on our desperation? There's absolutely nothing in the Qatar story. In terms of Qatar bids or anything like that, forget it. Sir Jim Radcliffe, he's in. He ain't going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And while the Glazers are happy with their investment and what's coming their way, and no blame coming their way, they love it. They've got a piece of the pie and one of the most expensive sporting enterprises in the world, and they're not getting blamed for how poor they are either. Brilliant business. Brilliant business. Anyway, that was it. Well over 1,500 in the room for most part of that show there. Thank you, everybody. That was a brilliant show. Please give the video a like on the way out. We might actually get to 500 live likes if you all like the video now. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV. If you have just subscribed, then welcome to the channel. We are live at least 2 times a day, sometimes even 3. And you know what's coming, everybody. In January, when the transfer window opens, it could go a bit mental. It could go crazy, so strap yourselves in for a crazy January, I think. I will have you covered with all Manchester United news, as always. I will have everything from the small little deals that could possibly be happening to any big ones. Fucking please. But yeah, just be prepared. Obviously, make sure you've got your notification button switched on as well. And yeah, I think we are going to be busy bees. Let's hope so. Anyway, we need it. Mods and members, everyone in the chats that has helped out. Great comments, great comment section today. Good vibe, considering how poor we are. I will see you all later on this afternoon. Have a fantastic weekend, people. Starting with today, obviously, Saturday. I'll see you in a bit.